All right, so who do you think that people are going to be trying to ban out? Do you think that Hazel is still feared enough that they
I
want to be
think
throwing some
that
mid bans? Or
Hazed is definitely the Diamond 1 mid laner you want to look for, but at the same time, Arise is Diamond 2, was Diamond 1, and his Lee Sin is really very good. It's not something you usually want to give with him, especially if you're not going to ban Orianna from Hazel. I would expect, and that's Nasus going into Devilish, which they've used in their comp a lot. I expect to see bans and picks away like Orianna, Lee Sin, Nasus ban is a good ban, and potentially Zed as well, as Hazel has picked that up, and Zed is very, very powerful. His nerfs didn't really come out as nerfs necessarily, they just forced players to learn a different style, and have actually come out as buffs to some Zed players.
yeah, I also am wondering if NoS Brigade's going to give Nocti the respect ban of Caitlyn, since while she has fallen slightly out of favor recently, she's still a really strong AD carry, and he's by far that she is his best champion, or at least most played, definitely.
It would make a lot of sense to do something to the bot lane, because they really play a style that is all about winning lane phase as easy as possible, and they've done it with usually some form of sustain and a very hard pusher with a lot of range. So it's typically something like Sivir or Caitlyn, and then, or even Jinx, and then something like Nami or Sona or Karma or Zyra, someone who can push really hard and is very safe.
And we do see that Orianna ban coming
going
out.
Against You're So Good Not, who has been playing Wukong mid a lot. We saw that against Picture of a Duck, and that was a big problem. GG Kronk really had a difficult time against that, and he got really big.
Couldn't handle it.
See the chance of Kronk. There's the Lee Sin. So that is being taken away from Irise. Wasted Wizard is more known for playing Jarvan more typically, but we have seen him play Lee Sin occasionally.
I really like the Lee Sin pick coming out because, like, as a Lee Sin player, I want to see what direction they go with him. Since junglers now get significantly more gold, you really can just go full damage Lee Sin and split push, and he's a really fearsome duelist, and so his split push potential is really high with all this newfound gold that he can get. Or they might just go with him going even more tanky than he could before, or maybe a bit of a hybrid build.
I like the Orianna ban. But if they were going for a Lee Sin pick, I almost don't understand the Kassadin pick, because enough high pressure with early game ganking, which Lee Sin can do very well, can shut down a Kassadin pretty well, and it's leaving Zed open, which is what I was, yeah. So let's leave Zed open, and unfortunately banning at Orianna also bans one of their mid lane champions, and You're So Good Not isn't known for playing something that is typically good against Zed. So this could have been kind of a mistake to let through bans. I mean, if you look at Hazel's champion, past games, it's a lot of Zed, and Nami just being picked up for a comfort pick. I don't know if that was necessary. I think there's Sivir. I think Sivir would have been a smarter pick. Maybe they want Caitlyn, but Sivir's known to be very strong. Naki plays it, and so that is giving Drag Force a very, very significantly powerful AD carry.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would have gone for the Sivir, especially because it doesn't look like Zanman's been playing a whole lot of Nami lately, even though that is by far Calvini's most comfortable champion. What I'm really looking for, though, wow, that Nocturne pick's going to be really big. What I'm really looking for, though, is to see what mid laner NoS Brigade's going to pick. Whether we're going to have a REZ assassin matchup, be really interesting to see. But just got locked in Renekton and Nocturne, which is going to be pretty interesting. I would have wanted to see a Zed Nocturne Shen. That just gives a lot of split push as well as global map control. I think it's a really good combo, but they went with the Renekton instead.
I'm almost surprised that Irise didn't go Shyvana, though, given that his style is very much a farm jungle. He's very into, like, high farming, and Shyvana right now is the fastest farmer in the game, and significantly more powerful than Nocturne, I would say, despite Nocturne still being able to fast farm.
I would agree with
bringing
that.
out his Lysandra, though. We saw that a couple of games early in the season.
I think that having that potential to burst the Zed, especially right after he ults, will be pretty big. And then I also think that the Nocturne, it gives them a decent amount of mix between farming potential as well as gank pressure, because Shyvana kind of lacks it. Wow. So looks like we're gonna have a top Lysandra most likely and a mid Malzahar. That's a really big pick, and I don't think that we've had that in UOLCS before.
Now that is the first Malzahar in UOLCS. Not a common pick currently. I think he could. Malzahar's a slightly. He hasn't been used in a long time. I think people overlooked him for a long time. He still has a lot of damage, but it's very difficult to set up without the right coordination. And this could be very dangerous against it. It could be very effective if he was very careful to hold on to it and used it precisely as Zed ulted. It could be a very effective counter, but it could also be a very poor counter if Zed played ganks correctly, or just knew Lee Sin was coming and could ult in and then have Lee Sin kick the Malzahar. So...
Yeah. I do agree with that, but on the same time, when you have Lysandra and Malzahar on the same team, that is a lot of a potential cheese. And so their goal might be to just completely just eliminate either Lucian or Zed. And I mean, between the two ults, they might not even need both, but that should be enough to completely shut down the TCG. And so
You're So Good Not does have a couple Malzahar games in his match history. It has been practiced. Looks like he's brushing a death cap and getting haunting guys. He's doing kind of a penetration route with a lot of AP, and then he picks up a Void Staff and a Rylai's. Rylai's being fairly common on Malzahar, just due to how long his dot stays on people. His slow is very effective, and his large AoE circle that is a good slow. So he can be a good zoner with that kind of tool.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's any potential to have a Lysandra mid and a Malzahar top, or do you think that Lysandra's farming potential is just...
If You're So Good Not had gone a different champion, I would have thought that could have been a good possibility, because a Lysandra against Zed is a very good pick. It's very hard for Zed to kill Lysandra in lane because of her ult. It's a very good counter. But Malzahar versus Renekton seems very dangerous for Malzahar. Like, level 2 forward, Renekton's going to be able to aggressively trade if Malzahar tries to come in and farm anywhere more than a couple minions to save. He can bully pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
Malzahar could get a lot of free damage off with his E, and if he could potentially zone Renekton, but I feel that's difficult with Renekton's sustain.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see the section between when Renekton has enough abilities that he can really mess with Malzahar to the point where Malzahar can clear a wave. Because once Malzahar gets to that 6 to 10 level range, he can basically clear an entire wave with all of his abilities. So we're going to have to see where they put those two, Lysandra and Malzahar. I think that will change a lot of the game if they kind of switch that around. Or maybe they'll even go for a 2v1 since they both have good wave clear and they're both ranged.
It's interesting to see that Nocti went with Lucian, who is a very popular AD carry right now, and he has been playing it. But I'm just kind of surprised that, I mean, Caitlyn was still up. I think Caitlyn might have helped, considering Caitlyn synergizes with Nami better than Lucian, and it fits the lane style. Right now, Sivir and Sona have a lot more zone, or excuse me, a lot more burst and poke potential than necessarily Lucian and Nami. I mean, Nami can get a lot of damage with the right bubble, but it's a little harder than Sivir Sona in my opinion. Sivir Sona just seems very simple with their Qs, and once they hit 6, it's a lot of burst and follow up, whereas Lucian's ult it's not the biggest spike at 6. It's very difficult to land all the damage, and it's still not that substantial.
Yeah. So we're going to have the finish and the delay in, so we're going to the load screens and then get this game ready. I'm going to go ahead and say that while I like NoS Brigade's lockdown that they have, and I feel like they have counters in their lanes, I also feel like TCG got on a lot of comfort picks, and that's really going to end up biting NoS Brigade in the ass, because TCG is a good team, and when they're on champions that they are used to, they are very strong.
Chat thinks that Lucian and Nami have more burst, but I think I'd like to remind chat that with both supports building AP, Sona's Q and ult hits substantially harder than anything Nami's going to pop out at level 6.
I think that Sona has a lot of constant bursts, and as well as Sivir with the Boomerang Blade combo, along with her W. But just for like, if Nami and Lucian are able to line up all their abilities in short bursts, then there's the potential. But I think that the Sivir and Sona, especially after level 6, I think we'll have more burst between the Sona along with that'll essentially allow Sivir to land all of her abilities.
I guess it just depends on what item the supports are going to go. Like if Sona wants to go Coin and Nami's going to go Spellblade or whatever it is now, Nami could potentially have, you know, bigger heals, bigger tight collar blessings.
And then I also want to see if anyone's going to come out with the Mikhail's Crucible, since that's been getting extremely popular. And so I'm really excited to see whether that's going to be getting more attention or not.
It should be an absolute pickup. With Sona and Lissandra and Malzahar ult, TCG definitely needs that Mikhail's Crucible. And with Nocturne Fear and Zed ult, and even Renekton Stun, a Crucible wouldn't be that bad of an idea for the other team either. I feel like that item is going to be very crucial to both teams, honestly. More so for TCG, because suppression is very, very powerful.
Yeah, and
it is faster for a support to get to Mikhail's than it is for the AD carry to get enough items and then get their Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you're taking more damage away from your AD carry when you're going to rely on them to get the 1,600 or so gold to get it. But we have the purple team coming into the bot Tribush. Sivir is going to see them, and they're also going to know that Sivir saw them as well. And they're still going to continue to invade. They also get seen by Sona. And they get queued again by Sivir. That might make them think that that bush is warded. But we'll see. Doesn't look like they choose to pink it. They don't have any pink wards, and also purple team has gone with all 5 warding totems. So they're really accentuating the vision control, and they don't go with any sweepers or anything like that. So they really just want to get as much vision control, and they're not too worried about opening up gank positions for iRise to gank lanes.
Minions have spawned.
Alright.
So I think the important thing in the bot lane too is Sivir and Sona look like they're going for kills, because that Sona has Ignite, which is interesting to see that she took the coin as well. Both supports took coin. I would have actually liked to see both supports take the Spellblade, at least maybe early. They can earn... Oh, am I not in Borderless? I'm not in Borderless. Watch this. You can see the game now. Okay, the game should be there now. Hopefully Steven Jackson can confirm. Alright.
Okay. So it does look like we have the Lissandra going top. What I might want to see them do is once Lissandra hits 6, have her swap with the Zed, because that would put Malzahar in more of a 1v1 situation, which he is good at, and that also allow the Lissandra to ult the Zed when he ults her. So I think that would be a good thing if they did it, but whether they're actually going to do it, I'm not sure. Hazel did start a longsword in pots, and he's being very aggressive in the lane. He does have a ward down on the top side of the river, but he's pushing pretty hard, but it's kind of hard to push against a Malzahar, so inevitably he's going to have the creeps coming back to him, since he can't push close to Malzahar's turret, else he'll get harassed a lot.
I like how quickly TCG was to use all their trinkets. They've had 3 out, 1 just went back up, but their early wards were much better, much quicker to be up. And they've all gone the trinket, the ward trinket, possibly...
Wasted Wizard coming in the top lane. Looks like they're going to go into Renekton. He's going to slice and dice away. Flash immediately after the Lee Sin Q. That was well played by him. But that does mean he's going to have a flash down, and his lane's pushed. Oh, yeah, and in the mid lane.
Zed tried to dive Malzahar, and unfortunately went a little too deep and took 1 tower shot too many, and Malzahar just lived barely from the Ignite.
Oh yeah, just rewinding it and seeing that, yeah. I felt like Zed should have just committed and gone for the kill. Whether he would have gotten it or not really sure, but I think at that point he was dead after he flashed into tower range. But I think that Zed should have just backed off there and taken that Malzahar would probably have to back, since he was at about 20%. But he went for it and didn't pay off.
Bot lane, creating much more of a presence. Sivir possibly have used your trinket earlier, so Sona could have that bush presence.
Pretty good Q there by Sivir. And Sona is going to be able to keep them both sustained up, but she's only at about a little slightly over a quarter mana, so she's not going to be able to keep healing up her and Sivir for long.
So Zed from the farm was still able to buy a Vamp Scepter, so at least he can come back to lane with something that's still substantial. But Malzahar now has 2 Dorans along with the Flask, so he will be able to sustain in lane very well. But Zed looking to be rushing that Blade of the Rune King very quickly.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested that he went and got a Vamp Scepter instead. Oh, here he's going to run into Lee Sin. I think that Lee Sin should be able to win this 1v1 pretty clearly. He does miss his Q though. It's a good juke there by Hazel. He should be able to get out of that safe. But I'm surprised that Zed went with the Vamp Scepter there, since it's now more gold to upgrade it than it was previously, and so I figured he would have gone for more damage, but I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like he needs some form of sustain in lane, especially against this Malzahar that has pods, so Vamp Scepter just might have been a requirement for him to do. Just, I mean, he could have gotten pods in another, like, boots or something, but I think he really wants to rush that Blade of the Rune King, or at least the Cutlass, so at level 6 he has a lot of kill potential.
Yeah, and so looking at CS here, it looks like it's pretty even across most lanes. On the other hand, though, we do have iRise with already 10 CS over 27 to 17, so he is farming harder than that Lee Sin is. But for the most part, it's looking pretty even across the board. Again, Renekton falling a little bit behind Lissandra, but that's kind of to be expected by a melee champion against like a pushing range champion.
Bot lane just looks pretty dead even, minus Lucian still has his pot. CS is exactly the same.
Yeah, looks like NoS Brigade has a little bit more lane presence at the moment, since they seem to be pushing, but I don't think that TCG is in any position where they need to worry about backing or potentially dying. It looks like the poke that they're getting from Syracuse is keeping them back pretty well, since it's a lot farther than Lucian's poke can really get. Lee Sin picking up the white camp, Nocturne picking up the golems. Not really seeing a whole lot of ganks coming out here. Nocturne not at all.
Experience advantage despite
Yeah, he's going on Lissandra up here. But she does have her E, so doesn't look like she's too worried about running. Looks like Nocturne just hit 6, so he might finally gank. Looks like he's going to run to Lissandra in a minute. Oh.
That's a good bubble.
He's going to sit here
Someone
instead.
has to flash, there we go.
Yeah, good fight going on in the bottom lane. I think that Sivir and Son have a better upper hand in this, but they are more and more of a 1v2 situation since Son is so scared. They're actually going to decide to both back out. On the other hand, we have an ult coming up. Coco ult, Sanchanja ulted himself, but TCG is going to instead bring him down because it was a bit of a 3v2 situation. Malzahar wasn't able to get there until the very end of the fight, so he wasn't even able to use an ult. Yes. So
too adventurous without any ward coverage. Maybe.
Yeah, especially when his jungler was in base, and so he wasn't going to get any assistance from there. See TCG backing in bot lane, and
now hit 6.
Yeah, want to see if it doesn't look like they had any vision of TCG backing there, so they probably can't go for any dragon.
And if you saw from that fight, that Vamp Scepter wasn't like Zed had that Cutlass for that fight. So that really, with his ult, so that was an intentional quick rush, and which is why he wanted that Vamp Scepter, and he did a lot of damage to Lissandra fast with that. So,
yeah, I definitely agree that, especially considering it was against a Malzahar in lane, but also what we might going to see Nocturne get here, he's not going to be able to get in range of a Malzahar ult. Malzahar does have flash, so there's going to be the Malzahar flash ult. That means a dead Nocturne, and looks like they're going to push mid.
Have the mana to cast it in lane, because Nocturne was right next to him. Flash probably was unnecessary. I feel like he was close enough in lane.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I didn't exactly see the range, but it is going to be a flash down by Malzahar, and so he's going to pick up his blue buff.
Like Malzahar getting going is not what TCG wants. Yes, he can be very difficult, like to make successful in a game, in a team, but they've got enough lockup, and if that Malzahar is big, like Lissandra's catches are very, very good, and Malzahar will just wipe someone.
It looks like Devilish up top is still kind of being pushed back by this Lysandra. He didn't really zone her that well pre-6, and so now he's kind of paying for it since she's ranged and has a lot of pushing potential. And on bot lane, doesn't look like a whole lot's going on. Everyone's just kind of farming and probably waiting for the ultimates to come back up.
A mirror match currently. They both hit 6 though, and we know we can like.
Oh, it looks like Sivir's kind of taking a lot of damage here. She should probably get out of there. Oh, that's almost hits him with the culling. Instead, Sona ults. Nami ult is avoided by the Sivir. And unfortunately, Zanman is not able to finish off the Lucian. I don't know whether Wasted Wizard will be able to make a ward jump. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to since he doesn't. His trinket isn't up currently. And that's going to be another fight in bot lane where you have both AD carries, or both AD carries and supports getting very low, but not any kills coming out of it.
Now, Sona had Ignite in that fight, and her Q was almost off cooldown. As we saw, she used it against Nami only seconds after Lucian. I feel like she could have followed Lucian and probably killed him. Or at least, like, I don't know, made it very close.
Yeah. There's actually a blind Q coming out there by Wasted Wizard on the Hazel. And he's going to just go pick up the white. Looks like we have a lot of people congrading down here in bot lane, but I'm not really sure if we're actually going to get the fight that we're expecting with this many people.
So they are aware at least.
Yeah. I just don't know whether they're going to be able to hold this tower. Okay, they do have Nocturne coming in. So they're probably going to be able to hold this tower. But on the other hand, iRise just has mobility boots and Spirit Stone. There's no real stats there.
Nocturnal.
And,
This should be Nocturnal.
Zed ult coming in. And Zed's getting ulted by Malzahar, and he goes down. Sona should die to the Nocturne Feeler. And Sivir trying to turn this. Lee Sin still just have ult, but it's not like he's going to be able to land anything. He doesn't have any wards to kick both. There, he doesn't quite get the kick. He has to back off. He still has ult. He could thirst in for this. Doesn't look like he's going to fall up on the other side of the queue. I think that Lee Sin should have gone in on that. If he had queued in with the other part of that, could have gone in, auto-attacked iRise for one auto-attack to kill him, and then kicked Nocti. He could have killed 2 people. He probably would have died, but that would have for sure gotten NoS Brigade the tower and 2 kills just for his 1 death.
Yeah,
but,
I think TCG just they went too ahead of their Nocturne. Like, he wasn't there in time to help the Zed, and Zed literally just melted. He ulted, and Malzahar reacted quick enough, and he was gone. So,
yeah.
At least it was a 1-for-1, but they were so low they did lose tower. So that's definitely good for NoS Brigade.
Yeah. I'm going to see if TCG can bring it back with a dragon here. They do have a pink ward. Hazel will pick that up. And so Calvini's going to be zoning while those 3 work on the dragon. Shouldn't be any problems or any real potential for a steal. They are going to get that. And I think everyone's probably going to go back to lane and wait again. Looks like all the ultimates on TCG are basically down, except for Calvini and Devilish. So I don't think that we're going to see any fighting for a good minute or 2. Devilish actually pushing Coco out of lane, so he's going to have to back.
Yeah, a quick Hex Drinker buy is giving him quite the edge in that lane.
And Hazel being pretty smart and getting a Bilgewater into Brutalizer. It's going to be a lot of early game damage. Wasted Wizard coming in, along with You're So Good Not, but doesn't look like he is going to have flash. TCG might turn this. Looks like they are. They're going to try and focus Lee Sin. Hazel took a little bit too much damage though, so he's not going to be able to do anything. Actually, iRise is going to get stuck in a 1v2 situation where
Malzahar is huge now.
Yeah, Hazel just got too low, and that lockdown to 1v2 situation with Malzahar ult just really doesn't give Nocturne any chance to get away. And Devilish now proxy farming, almost even denying Coco from getting to his own turret. I think Coco can go in all night early before he ults. Alright, he's going to keep chasing. He's almost out of mana, though. And he's going to back off. Alright, I think that Coco should have ignited earlier, so that way the Renekton ult would have only healed him for half as much. And then also probably ulted earlier as soon as his snare ran out, instead of after he had flashed out of tower. Nocturne picked up tower aggro there after he popped his ult, because the AoE from his ult hit Coco. And he should have immediately ulted him to keep him in tower range and kill him, but hindsight's 20/20, so.
Yeah, it just looks like bot lane was going evenly for so long, but Sona ult is just stopping any kind of kill potential, and it's turning these fights dramatically. Every single time Lucian and Nami get the Sivir low, the Sona ult comes out, and the Sivir Q just decimates their health, and they can't continue these fights. And it's really kind of shut them down.
Yeah, we're seeing even more map control coming out of NoS Brigade here. This is now they have 2 towers down to TCG's 0, but gold lead is pretty close.
I
But
would
map
like to see
control
a
right now
little
is
bit more
definitely it.
rewards come from TCG going a little bit farther out. They did just lose their outer turrets, but they've been warding their own jungle quite a bit, and it could really they really need a little. They need their wards farther out because they're just not seeing a lot of movement from them.
Yeah. Zed coming down. Looks like he's going for bot lane. I think he should have ran behind Dragon Pit since.
He's now
Yeah.
No, he's not spotted. Not only he's spotted.
Yeah. And we've got Nocturnal coming in top. They're going to be going on to Lissandra. He's going to flash. Is not going to flash out of the Nocturne's Fear range. Probably means he's going to be a dead. Lee Sin comes in. He's going to go on Renekton. It's going to kill him. I think that Lee Sin has the upper hand in this 1v1 situation against Nocturne. Nocturne did spend a lot of gold on those mobility boots, so he's not going to have the stats that Lee Sin has from the cloth armor and Doran's Blade. And he is going to win the 1v1 situation. And now TCG does not have anyone to defend this top tower, so
That was a very
NoS
close
Brigade
fight.
can push it freely.
And that Lee Sin kick almost kicked Renekton into Lissandra. It was very, very close, but NoS pulls out a 1-0, sending Nocturne back. That's probably top tower.
Yeah, that should be another tower. So that's all out of all outer turrets for NoS Brigade going down without any for TCG. We see a fight going down the bot lane here. Don't know. They keep dancing around. They don't really know if they're actually going to commit for or not. A lot of damage coming out of Lucian. Sona's going to get hit by Nami ult, so she has to flash out. Silver's again is going to be going for the 1v2. Great spell shield. Silver pops the ult. She's going to try and chase a bit, but it doesn't look like they're going to get anything off this. So a lot of fights in bot lane without a lot of people dying.
Because they don't know where the enemy is. So
Yeah.
it's a smarter call. They might have been able to catch Nami with Sona's movement buff and Sivir ult, but sometimes it's just safer to force them out, get some farm, and go back and buy.
Yeah, it's looking like in a lot of these bot lane fights, while it's good to have the support take damage instead of the AD carry, it looks like Sona's taking a bit too much damage and is leaving Sivir in a 1v2 situation most of the time.
God.
And wow, that said, getting completely melted again. While Lissandra is there, she wasn't actually helping at all in that fight. It was completely Malzahar just destroying.
That was Zed just tried to go farm with E, and Malzahar just hit dot W and ult in perfect range.
Yeah, we got
Malzahar's
Coco.
really
Coco and
problem.
Yursoka not swinging top along with Wasted Wizard. Don't know if Devilish is going to make it out of this one. He does have his ult, pops it, but he doesn't have any tower to run to. And Slice and Dice is down for another 10 seconds. This should be him dead. He's so tanky with that Spectre's Cowl. Almost has it into a Spirit Visage as well as a Hex Drinker, but it's not going to be enough for all three, especially that Malzahar, who's now at
Should
5-0.
be bot tower though.
Yeah.
I'd
So
say
TCG
this is
should
really
take a
catching
tower.
TCG off. TCG is known to be a very, very objective-based team, and this is their first tower of the game. It's very unusual for them to take this long. It's 17 minutes, and they're a team known for taking towers within like the first 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think they might have gotten caught off. Hazel being put behind in mid lane from giving first blood. Uh-oh, Nami left
I
alone.
want to see if... Oh, yeah, Nocturne
Nami caught
backs out of there. Just let her just die. That should be a dead Nami right here. Yeah, they're just waiting to give this over the kill. That's a dead Nami. I'm a little bit surprised that Wasted Wizard and Yursoka didn't decide to converge on Hazel since they were on either side of him while he was farming in mid lane. But they just let him get through. And now it looks like NoS Brigade's going to have a little bit more control of the map now. I want to see if they can turn this into another tower or a dragon, maybe, because it's spawning right now.
That was unfortunately just a lesson in you need to know if the Busher backing is real. And that unfortunately is there are
Oh,
no
we see a
sweet-
fight going down, and Zed ult onto Lissandra. She gets evaporated. That's also a Nocturne ult. Wasted Wizard should be fine to get out of here. He does have Flash and minions at W2. Doesn't quite get out there, but here comes Malzahar. It's going to be a good combo on all of them. And looks like Hazel, looks like they're both going to get out. Hazel with a very, very early Quicksilver Sash. Immediately, QSS is that. Oh, Q is
and bot
Flash.
lane, Sona
Q is
ulted and
missed by
just
Hazel.
melted Lucian.
And they're going down. That's another dead Calvini. Oh, and that's Malzahar landed his dot onto Nocturne right before he died. Luckily, him and Hazel were smart enough that they spread out, so that way if Nocturne were to die at the dot, that it wouldn't be transferred to Zed. That's going to be another tower for NoS Brigade, if not possibly a second one. whether they can swing mid and get this. Right now, TCG has 3 people dead, so they definitely have the potential, or they could just be safer and go for a dragon.
Really underestimating the Sona. Her ults are just completely stopping their fight potential, and Sivir's bursting them hard. And Sona has Rush, Talisman of Ascension, whereas Nami has Sightstone and has gone for the Chalice, looking to make a Crucible.
Oh, Zandman getting stuck here. Devilish is going to run into her. Devilish doesn't have a whole lot of damage. He is building full tank, but I think that he's going to have to back off. That Malzahar is just too scary.
See, my point is that Talisman of Ascension is giving Sona 20% CDR, and with Masteries, she's probably got somewhere close to 25-30%, maybe even runes. So her ults are coming up much faster than Nami, and I don't think the bot lane really counted for that, as Sona has had her ult for almost every single fight, and there's just nothing that bot lane's been able to do.
Yeah, they're also really good Sona ults. A lot of the time, they're really just stopping Lucian while he's popping the culling right in his tracks. And so they're really good ults and really pulling it out for that team. While they didn't get a whole lot of kills in lane, they're really starting to snowball in the mid game.
Yeah, the biggest thing is this Malzahar is huge. I mean, First Blood did go to him, but it really seemed like for a while Zed had that lane back under control. He did pick up the kill from Lissandra, catching her, and it was even. But Malzahar has been just melting people. His roaming has been much more effective than Zed's. Yeah. And it really goes back to that team fight when Nocturne...
NoS Brigade pushing this. Nami ult comes out. Looks like it's just to get them off the tower. Combo from Malzahar does not hit. So unfortunately, that's a lot of damage that they didn't get, but it looks like NoS Brigade's still going to continue to push this. The wave clear with Sivir and Nami, or Sivir and Lissandra and Malzahar is just outrageous. But at the same time, Hazel keeps split pushing.
Yeah, and this Hazel needs to come back. I feel like he's almost desperation split pushing at this point, but a hard initiate from Lissandra could come in at any moment. Lissandra Lee Sin, and Malzahar can kill anyone on that team right now.
Yeah. Another tip
Sivir's
that...
goes out.
Oh, looks like Sivir dabbing past does not kill the Nami. Gets ulted by the Sona. Sona's completely caught out. It's way too far forward. Looks like they're going to be fighting under the tower. Devilish should be able to kill Sona right here. And he's trying to hug the tower. Isn't really going to get anything. Nocturne's ignited running back to base, but he's still going to be okay. This is going to be a inhib for... most likely an inhib for blue team. Devilish does get out of there barely. Should be an inhib for blue team. Meanwhile, Hazel split pushing bot lane. Will probably get that bot lane tower, but probably not the inhib.
They can stop
Nocturne
the back,
coming out. It's going to stop the back onto Lissandra and to Sivir. Lissandra's dead, and Nocturne is probably going to get out of there safe. Malzahar is diving in for. Devilish should turn and try and kill Sivir here. I don't know whether he's going to be able to. Calvin is getting ult comboed Mount Malzahar. That's a ton of damage coming out. He is going to get out alive though. Lucian's back up though. He gets Malzahar ulted in the pool. That should be him dead. Nope. Instead he pops the barrier, gets queued by Lee Sin, almost flashes into the into the spawn well, but he doesn't quite get it. Triple kill for Wasted Wizard. Hazel is finally now backing that he's going to get caught out by Sona.
Oh no, this could be the game.
This could be the game. NoS Brigade still pushing his 3. We have Nocturne up in 3 seconds. Hazel kills Sona, backing now. I don't know whether they're going to be able to stop them from taking this Nexus though. Coming in. Hazel did burn his ult and ignite on that Sona to kill her. It's going to be really close if they're going to stop him. I don't know if they're going to be able to though. Wasted Wizard is being focused. They killed Sivir. Malzahar there gets bubbled by Nami. Great comeback. They're covering the Nexus. This is not going to be the game yet, at least.
That's the Nexus though with 250 health.
Yeah, that was a really close save by TCG, but I'm going to really have to see how they're actually going to come back from this. Hazel did not get that inhib, so they don't really have a whole lot of map pressure. It is good that they have Zed and an open inhib, because his 1v1 potential is phenomenal, but I still think that this Malzahar, especially with the Zhonya's Hourglass, could have the potential to 1v1 Zed. And now it looks like TCG is going to try and sneak Baron, which does not have a word on it.
I apologize for the stream. I'm hearing that it's a little laggy. My computer just has a hard time handling this. I'm trying to make it a little easier. Also, I keep getting mixed signals whether I'm quiet or loud. I'll try and fix this for game 2. That might just be my mic is very sensitive, and it's difficult to tell when I'm ridiculously loud or very quiet. Currently the stream is enjoying a frozen screen of my game trying to adjust graphic settings.
And Baron was picked up there by TCG. NoS Brigade coming in. Not going to be able to catch out anyone from TCG. And looks like NoS Brigade's just going to back. Looks like they might try and push, but it's pretty risky to push here, even with an inhib down and both Nexus towers down against a TCG, who does know how to team fight pretty well, along with a Baron buff on all 5 members.
Lysandra, the item differentials at this point are very massive. The gold income has still been very close the whole game. That's a very good part on like the farm from TCG and getting some towers from that push. It still is only a 3k gold lead, and it really hasn't been anything massive the whole game. But still, like, kills are on the, low deaths on the correct people. 3 kills.
And Hazel looks like he's going to get caught out here. Keeps running away from the Lysandra. Lysandra comes in, does not get to ult. She gets bubbled by by Nami. She goes to the back line, kills Lucian almost completely by herself. Hazel is now running away, so as well as Coco. He gets killed by Renekton. Renekton's now in a 1v3 situation, while Hazel 1v1's Wasted Wizard over the wall. Calvini and Devilish running away from Malzahar and Sona, and we have Wasted Wizard and Dragon Force chasing Hazel. Don't think he's going to be able to get out of this. They both have pretty good chase potential. He goes down, and now we have NoS Brigade pushing. That was a 3-for-1 exchange. That will most likely be the game. It was a 3-for-1 exchange by NoS Brigade, but Devilish and Calvini
by
might be able to
Malzahar
hold it off.
too. Getting caught up in the middle of them, but Zone using midway through Zed's ult, just after his ult had finished, saved his life.
Oh, inhib respawn. Inhib respawn with Nexus with 150 health. And so I don't know whether that's going to be enough for them to still stay alive for another push. But TCG is going to be pushing them back out of the base. Wasted Wizard's getting feared by Nocturne. Looks like he's going to go down. Sivir's going to try and finish the Nexus. And they're going to turn on Sivir. Sivir goes down.
Malzahar's just going at it. So
NoS
Sona,
Brigade's
and there, it's GG. Yeah. Good run for the Nexus.
Yeah. NoS Brigade going for it.
That was a really good game. It seemed very fast, but like the gold is still huge. These players are still huge, but looking at it, like Lee Sin and Malzahar, 7-1-3, 6-1-8. Their map pressure was just phenomenal, and we kind of saw that like iRise's style of farm jungling just didn't pay off because his lanes were not doing nearly as well as he's used to, I believe. I think Hazel really kind of cost himself going very early for that first blood, and it never quite caught up, and he fell really far behind when they traded him for Sona in a failed bot lane gank that Nocturne just wasn't able to come in on fast enough. Bot lane never really got any traction. It was even for so long. And eventually, like, Sona Sivir did more burst than Lucian Nami. Sona was able to ult every single time Lucian even tried to use the culling. And although trade seemed even for a while, they were backing off. Like, rushing that Talisman of Ascension was giving her her ult way more often than Nami had it, and they just couldn't fight them after a while.
I am pretty surprised though to see that Lee Sin go 7-1 and go full tank. He has Randuin's, he has Spirit of the Ancient Golem and Sightstone. The only type of damage he has is that Doran's Blade. Granted, he didn't really need it with all the damage that was coming out from Malzahar and a mix of Lysandra and Sivir. But it's kind of interesting to see how fed the Lee Sin got and still just stayed with going full tank.
I'm going to try and close a couple more programs. I don't know what is with my computer, but